Hello YouTubings, this is Konrad, Yerba Addict here. In today's video, we're gonna go through the golden rule of cold email and what it means for writing your cold emails, how to make them effective, and just like the underlining fundamental of every cold email you ever gonna write that is going to work. So without any further fluff, let's get into it. So I would say the number one thing that really makes all the cold emails work, no matter like what's the actual content, is how you write it. And what I mean by that is like you write it about the person you are writing it to rather than about yourself. At least we are talking about here the first email. Let's say you've never met the person, you never contacted them, and you're writing to them the first email. So that's cold email. You don't have any previous relationship. You don't really. It's not going through any network. That's what I would call a cold email. So then we have a clear definition, and then we can go from there. So when you are writing to a stranger, I would advise you, because a lot of people, I think it's a kind of a cliche at this point to say like, oh, make it about them, not about yourself. Write more about them. Use yous instead of I's. I mean, it's something that gets repeated, but I feel like most people still don't get it this way if you just tell them that. So what I think might be helpful for you, to kind of imagine, to make this easier for yourself, is to imagine you are going up to a stranger on a street for some unknown reason. Let's say it's a girl that you like, or maybe, I don't know, someone you just want to start conversation with because you are bored on a beach or something. Is picture yourself in this situation. What would you do? What would you do? Maybe now it's not so obvious because people are detached from like social interactions and everyone's on Facebook and every other social media platforms. But normally you would start with making an observation. So you would just say something that just appears, like something that would that's something that would kind of grab their attention in a way and make them interested. Saying something like, "Hey, it looks like you are running for something," or "Oh, it seems like you might be bored as well, like I am." So you are just basically making a statement, but phrased as an observation. So you're not necessarily saying that this is true, and this is for sure a like fact. It's more like what you perceive this person is doing or feeling, or I don't know, like any. You're trying to dig into what's their emotional state and what they might be, something that's gonna establish a certain connection, because that's what needed. Like normally the connection would be, hey, we know each other through this guy. That's how it started if it's not a cold opening. So you would say like, hey, I think I know you from this party. So then you establish some form of connection, like you are in the same tribe. Here you have to create the connection with just making observation. Then you kind of establish a premise. So it's like, oh, sorry, I'm just going here, blah, blah, blah. And I thought I would just, start talking to you because yeah, why not? So then you try to establish a premise. And then lastly, you kind of follow, normally you would just go along with the conversation if it makes sense. And then finally, you would maybe suggest something, or you would figure out like what to do next. In email, it's slightly different. So you don't have as much place for the actual like conversation part. So you typically just start with some kind of an opening and observation. And then the conversation is basically, just you offering some insights, because you have to make a lot of assumptions and the other person is not talking back. So like it's on one-way conversation. And the only way to make a one-way conversation interesting for the other person is if you're offering some kind of important insights for them, insights or ideas or something that, that's just they would perceive as valuable. People call it giving value, but I think giving value is a bit like a vague term, because giving value can mean so many different things. And I think I'm going to make a video about this, because I feel like this term is way overused. It's at this point, I think, a buzzword. But anyway, you try to give insights, try to give ideas or something they might be interested in, and then you basically tell them if you hit the nail on the head. So if you kind of resonated with them and your assumptions were correct or partially correct, then this is what you suggest that you guys do. So maybe you reply to this email, forward this email, or give me a call, or just let me know what are your thoughts. Ask them a question. So something that would ping the ball back to them, and then it's all up to them. But you did your job. Like you kind of adhere to the normal social human laws of how you approach a stranger. And I would say, like, this, people make it seem like I think the problem is that the general problem is, I think, that people are detached from like social interactions. They just don't know. Because for me, like personally, this came a lot more natural, because I hitchhiked, I traveled, I had a lot of interactions where I had to talk to a random stranger and establish some form of connection, conversation, and then ask them for something. So I just learned it through practice, like how you do it. You don't go straight to the ask. You don't go too overboard. You have to have some empathy, to kind of understand what's their position when you are starting a conversation with them. So they may be taken slightly aback, because it's not so. It's not like a everyday thing that some stranger starts a conversation with you. And then it's kind of the same. And then I understood quickly that it's very much the same for email. It's just the medium is different. It's not like you and I talking, but it's just a form of email letter. But it's basically the same. And you have to apply the same principles. So I would say, if you just keep this in mind, you're gonna do so much better than everyone else. Obviously, there's a lot of tactics, things you can use, but for me, what was like the game changer, what changed everything for me, and I'm able to write now as many good cold emails as I want to. I don't need to have templates. It's understanding the principle behind the cold emails that work. And I would say the number one, the golden rule, is to make it about the other person at the start, and give them insights, and then ask for something, and make it very succinct. And it could be long, but it's hard to make something super interesting when it's longer. So I would say, if you do that, you're gonna also write the email differently. When you read it, you're also gonna have a different angle you read it from. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm writing a lot about myself, or about how I'm looking at things. Let's switch it around and see what happens. And there's many tactics to do it. Some people say, hey, replace eyes with views, and things like that. But I would say, just look at it through this perspective, and you're gonna unlock your own like creative superpowers on how to write a damn solid cold email. So thanks a lot. This is just me kind of going on about the golden rule of cold email. In the next videos, I'm gonna go through more detail as to like specific structure of a great cold email, what to write, examples, and I will try to give you basically like a very actionable outline of how I've learned myself cold email, and how you can write damn great cold emails to get clients for yourself, or for your business, or for your company that you work for. So yeah, thanks a lot for your attention. If you like this type of videos and you want to see more, please comment, share your thoughts, and also please subscribe to the channel. That's going to help me a lot. And, until next time, my friends, let the Yerba be with you.